Hello, welcome back today. I'm going to just share a few bits with you today, more of a show and tell video today. I forgot in the last video to show you the ones that we'd made or I'd made during that video session. So I thought I'd just go over those first. This is the one that I made in the first video. So I just got the one done and then I went on and made, hopefully you can see those okay. Made this one and this one off camera, and then I come back and did the second video, which is the last video you may have seen, apart from flip throughs, and I did 4 on the last video. So I did this one, this one, this one, and yes, this one with the horse. And then after I turned the video off, I had 3 bases left, so I thought I'd go ahead and do those. So I made this one. This is actually the last one I made, and it's probably my favourite. I did a bit of stamping around the edges, fussy cut birds, and a stamp there. So I really like that one. I think there's something about it, and I think the colours really work as well. And I did this one with some other fussy cut birds. And I did this one, and this is the only one where I've added some lace so far since I made that initial batch. So it's got some lace down the bottom and a lace topper just there, so it's very delicate lace. I don't know if you can see that very well, and one of my clusters that I've had already done. So that's those. I can now file those away to be used in journals now that you've seen them all. The next thing I wanted to show you, just because it took me 2.5 days of doing nothing other than fussy cutting. I'm a little bit over it right now. I enjoy fussy cutting, but when you do so much for such a long period of time consistently, one, it's quite painful on my poor arthritic fingers, and 2, it just gets a bit boring, a bit old. You know, normally I like to just do it as I need it, but doing these videos I realized it really does help to have things available ready to go so it's not too time consuming. So I just wanted to show you the results of my 2.5 days of fussy cutting, because it was a public holiday here in New Zealand on Friday for Matariki, which is the Maori New Year, and it's the first year that we've had it as a national public holiday, so that was quite exciting. So I had Friday, all day Friday, Saturday, and then half of Sunday cutting out these flowers, and like there's so many of them. I printed the first batch of these flowers, and that's one from the first batch, and I didn't realize that the ink, the cyan, which is the blue, the ink nozzle had clogged, so they printed out without any cyan in them, and they're quite yellowy. But I found it's quite pretty. It's sort of more vintagey, that yellowed effect. So once I unclogged the nozzle, I then had to print them out normally. So there's one with the normal colour in it. So I had 2 full batches to cut out, and I've still got a batch of the whole set that are printed half the size, that I did printed 2 of these pages per 1 page of copy paper. It's not actually copy paper, they're printed on presentation paper. So I've still got those to cut out, but I'm just going to leave those. I don't use them as often at the smaller size, so I think I'll just leave those to cut out as I need them. But certainly having this, it was time well spent. I'll have to say that, even though it got a bit monotonous and a bit sore on the fingers, it's well worth having done that. And all of these flowers are from a digital kit, just one digital kit, so there's a lot in the kit, basically half that quantity that you see there, from Artsology on Etsy. So really, really good value, this kit, because you get a lot of different flowers in it. So head along there and purchase from her if you are interested in those. So that's basically my weekend's work. Right, so I'm now going to shift gears a little bit and talk about a current project. My lovely friend Lydia over at YouTube channel February and June. She's a lovely friend, and she's asked me if I would make her a journal. Now, she's amazing. Like, she journals about every single one of the days that she lives. Like, she is just super inspiring to watch what she does and how she journals about the little things in life. And I was watching it earlier and I was like, I wish I had done the same thing, because all those little moments that are precious at the time but you don't think any more of, and they just drift away, whereas Lydia's journaling method means she captures all those special times and things, even if they're not actually that special. They're just normal. But so much of life, and life goes quite quickly, that we forget. And it's really interesting to look back. So I find it very inspiring to watch Lydia. She also makes journals and does art journaling and all sorts of really cool things. So I recommend her channel as well. She's usually listed in the bottom of the description box on my videos as one of the channels I recommend that you might like to go have a look at. So she's asked me to do her a journal, which is a huge privilege. And I wanted to do something a little bit different to what I normally do. Not huge, but just a little bit different. And I saw an idea over on 49 Dragonflies. Barbara is her name on 49 Dragonflies. And she made a journal out of a grocery bag, just like this one. So I've already had a little play earlier today just to make sure I knew what I was doing. And I have made a cover for Lydia's journal. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to decorate it. I'm still playing with ideas. So I've got these doilies I've cut out from a larger doily piece. But this is the cover. And this cover, whatever I do to decorate it, this is the base cover, made from a grocery bag and some fabric. So I would have liked to have done it on screen, but I can't use my sewing machine at the moment on camera. It's not permanently set up. I have to get out a trestle table, put the machine up, move my chair, and it's a whole big palaver. So I had to do this off camera, but I thought I can show you how I got to this space, give or take. So that's the cover. So Lydia, if you're watching this, I hope you are going to like this. I think you will. I think you will. It's totally imperfect. Like, the stitching's wonky, the edges are wonky, they're frayed, which is deliberate, but unevenly frayed. And it's crinkly and flexible, and I don't know if I showed that, but you know, it's got that lovely feel, tactile feel and sound to it. So I really hope that you'll enjoy using it once it's ready. So out of one grocery bag, I can actually get 2 A5 size journals. So A5 is half of an A4 size. So I'll just show you how I got to that point. So firstly, I'm going to open up the bottom of the bag. So a little bit of care, because if you end up ripping it, you'll get one cover instead of 2. And depending on how well it's glued, how easy that is. I mean, a little bit of rippage is fine, but you don't want to like tear through the paper completely. And this one's a bit tougher than the last one, and it is tearing a bit. So we shall see what happens. And I think these usually cost around 50 cents when you buy them at the supermarket. It's, you know, quite an affordable base for a journal, really. And I hope that noise isn't bothering you too much, because unfortunately there's no way around it. There's a bit of noise to this opening of the bag. There we go. See, that one has torn. See, that's torn there. That's left behind. It's too well stuck down. So this bag might only make one journal, but we'll see. This side's also torn, so yeah. It's probably only one journal in this bag. Right, Now I've got it open, so I'm going to just flatten it out, bringing the sides out. Hopefully you can see this and it's not completely lost focus, because I know my camera seems to have focusing issues, which is not ideal, but I don't know how to stop it going out of focus. If anybody has any ideas, do let me know. It's an Android phone, a Samsung. Right, so I'm just going to flatten out that seam and do the same on the other side. And this is another reason that I didn't do it on camera to begin with, because I haven't got a lot of space here to actually work with. And the bag, once you open it out, is quite big. So hopefully you get enough of an idea from what I'm doing here. Otherwise I might be deleting the video. Okay, so that's opened up there. Oops. And from here I need to, I'm just going to move these because otherwise they're going to end up off the back of the table as well. From here I need to remove the handles. Now some bags have flat paper handles, and those you can just trim off level with the bag and use them as decoration or something afterwards. But these ones are like twisted brown paper, I think that's what they're made of, and they leave quite a lump. You can see on the inside there's quite a lump there. So there's a paper strip underneath them and one on top that holds them in place. So I just simply tear off the top one, as much as possible, and tear off the handles. There's one side. Sorry, hope you can see this, people. It's actually quite difficult to do it and try and get it on camera at the same time, but I'll be done in a sec. So there we've got one handle off, and I'm thinking these could be useful for something, so I've just set those aside to use. I don't know if I'll ever get to use them or whether they'll end up being burnt, but there we go. Now I've got to try and remember which way around I did this. I grabbed myself a sheet of A4 paper and folded it in half, so that's to represent my signature. And then I worked out, which way did I do it? Yes. So laying it vertically, so the bottom of the bag's here and the top's over here, you can get two journals. And I haven't left much of a margin at the top or bottom. There is a margin, but not a lot, because by the time you add on fabric, that extends the margin even further, and you don't want it to be too much bigger than the signature. So you can get two journals out of the one, and you can actually get it all from the middle section. If you haven't torn it like I have torn this bit, if that wasn't torn, you could actually still use it as a journal, because we use two layers of the bag, so you could actually still use the two layers and that would be fine. Just glue it down and be fine. So I just trimmed it basically in half to do the two heights, and then I folded it in half lengthways. Hopefully my instructions are making sense, because I feel like it's all a bit muddly at the moment, because I'm going to have to say it's not the easiest thing to work with on my small space. So yeah, it's folded in half, and it doesn't have to be precise. Then I took my page and just basically laid it. So I did the trimming along the top, I think, at this stage. And I just took a craft knife and sliced across there. Just doing several gentle run-throughs with craft knife. So rather than just trying to get through it all at once, which can be very difficult and lead to accidents, just gently run it through on the edge of a ruler. So pop your ruler down where you want it, hold it down and run through until it breaks free. It's the safest way to do that without injuring yourself. And then once I'd had it in half, I trimmed up. I estimated basically where I wanted the edge of the pages to be and trimmed straight up. And what that leaves you with, I would have shown you, but it all fell on the floor. You're left with two flaps each side of the bag that open out, and you've got two. You've got a section like this of nice brown paper that you can do other things with. So you don't need to waste any part of these bags, so really good option. And then what I did from there was I took my cover, my paper, my 2 layers of paper. Imagine this is just paper at the moment, and I put glue on one layer and put the second layer down. So you've got the front and the back of the bag, and you just sandwich them together. So I just glued them down together so that they wouldn't move around. And then I tore out 2 bits of fabric, and this fabric here is curtain fabric or upholstery fabric, and it's actually been, it said on the tear strip on the side that it's treated for stain resistance, so it's got a surface to it, which I think is very handy for a journal, so you can give it a bit of a wipe down if it gets a mark or something on it. So once I had my strips of fabric laid out, I pinned it all around, and then I gave it a couple of rows of stitching around, and then I did a little bit of trimming up because it was a wee bit too big. Trimmed it up and then frayed some of the edges, and so they're very uneven. There's bigger frays in some areas than others, but that's what handmade is. It's not about being perfect. It's just about making, about doing, and about the whole experience. So the tactile quality, the look, the colours, the knowledge of what you put inside, the papers. So I haven't chosen out papers for this yet, so that will be my next step, and I'll probably go over that on camera very soon, so I can get this journal done and to Lydia. So Lydia's asked for a journal that's not decorated, so normally I would decorate all my journals with pockets and tags and, you know, all the fun stuff. But she's asked for essentially a nude journal because she adds all her own things in. So she adds flips and photos and lots of really good stuff. So she just needs the signature in the cover with enough pages for a whole month for her journaling. So this one will have 16 pages to cater for a full month for Lydia. So that's it today. That's all I've got for the moment. I'll be back very soon with, I'm thinking I'll probably do a cluster video on those receipts because they're really fun, and I feel a little bit out of it after having spent so long just fussy cutting, and I feel like I need a project just to get me in the right frame of mind for continuing making things. So might be back very soon with clusters. Hope you're all having a great day, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.